Captain Elias Ward walked slowly through the tall grass of Orenv. The sky was painted with soft purple and pink clouds, and strange stars blinked in the far distance. This planet was not like Earth, but Elias had grown to respect it. It was quiet here, peaceful. At least for now. Elias was a soldier, a leader of men and women in the war between humans and many alien enemies. He had fought in many battles, lost many friends. But no matter where he went in the galaxy, before every battle, he made one special visit. He always stopped at the same place on Orenv, a small grave marked by strange symbols carved into a smooth stone. The grave was simple. No name, no dates, only the shape of an alien warrior's face, deeply carved. The alien face looked strong and proud, with eyes that seemed to watch the stars. The locals called it the Warrior's Rest. No one knew the name of the warrior buried there. Some said he died protecting their world long ago, fighting a terrible enemy. Others said he was a legend, a hero who once saved Orenv from destruction. Elias did not know all the stories, but he felt a connection. Every time he came here, he knelt, closed his eyes, and prayed. He prayed not only for himself, but for his team, for the soldiers who would fight with him. He prayed for peace, for strength, and for the courage to face what came next. Today was no different. As he reached the grave, Elias pulled out a small coin from his pocket. It was a coin from Earth, old and worn, but important to him. He placed it gently on the stone. Then he knelt down and bowed his head. "Please watch over us," Elias whispered. "Keep us safe." The wind moved softly through the grass. For a moment the world seemed still and calm. Elias opened his eyes and looked around. No one else was near. The alien village that lived nearby was quiet, their people working and living simple lives far from the war. But Elias knew the peace would not last. He stood up and turned to leave, but something caught his eye. At the edge of the grave, a small, silver light flickered for a second like a tiny star shining in the grass. Elias blinked. It was gone. He shook his head and smiled. "It's just the light," he said to himself. As he walked back toward his ship, Elias thought about the many battles ahead. The war was spreading fast. An enemy called the Varn had begun attacking systems across the galaxy, machines made of metal and light, with no mercy. They destroyed planets, cities, and lives without stopping. Elias and his squad were called to join the fight on a distant moon called Tenebris. It was a dangerous mission, but they had no choice. His mind drifted back to the grave. Why did he feel so drawn to it? Why did he pray to a warrior he did not know? The villagers said the warrior saved their people once, but no one spoke of what happened after. No one said the grave was empty. No one except the alien elders. Far from Elias, hidden in their temples, the elders watched him with tired eyes. They knew something important, something Elias could not understand yet. The warrior's grave was not what it seemed. It was not the resting place of a dead alien. It was a promise waiting for the right time. And Elias Ward was the reason. That night, aboard his ship, Elias sat alone in the small cabin. The soft hum of engines filled the room. Outside, the stars blinked silently. He took the coin from the grave and held it in his hand. It felt warmer than before. Strange, because the ship was cold. He placed it on the table and looked out the window at the stars. "Why do I feel this way?" he asked aloud. The coin seemed to glow faintly in the dark. Elias rubbed his eyes. "I'm just tired," he told himself. His second-in-command, Sergeant Lyra, entered the cabin quietly. "Captain, you should rest. The mission starts tomorrow," she said softly. Elias nodded. "I'll be ready," he said. Lyra looked at him carefully. "You're visiting that grave a lot these days. Are you sure it's just a grave?" Elias smiled. "It's a place of peace, a place to remember. It helps me stay strong." Lyra frowned slightly. "I don't know. It feels strange." Elias placed the coin back in his pocket. Maybe it is. But sometimes strange things help us. Lyra didn't argue. She knew Elias was a strong leader, but even the strongest could have secrets they didn't understand. The next morning, as the sun rose over Orn-V, Elias once again walked toward the ship. The grass swayed in the soft breeze. He looked toward the grave one last time before boarding. Suddenly, the ground beneath the stone trembled very lightly. The symbols on the stone glowed faintly with blue light. Elias didn't notice. He was already thinking about the battle ahead. The elders watched from a distance, their faces serious. The moment was coming. Elias prayed for victory, but the grave was not a place to mourn the past. It was a place waiting for the future. The future was about to begin. The stars above Orn-V twinkled cold and distant as Captain Elias Ward stood on the deck of the Starlancer, his battleship. The ship's engines hummed steadily, ready to carry him and his squad into the heart of danger. The mission was clear. Travel to the moon Tenebris, find the hidden Varn outpost and destroy it before it could spread its destruction to more worlds. Elias felt the weight of the mission heavy on his shoulders. The Varn were unlike any enemy he had faced before. They were not living beings like humans or aliens. They were machines, relentless, without mercy or emotion. Their metal bodies gleamed in the dark, and their glowing eyes searched for targets to erase. No one knew where the Varn came from, only that they wanted to wipe out all life. As Elias watched the stars, his mind wandered back to the strange grave on Orn-V, the one he visited before every battle. The Warrior's Rest, the locals called it. But Elias had a secret feeling deep inside. That grave was connected to something greater, something he did not yet understand. His second-in-command, Sergeant Lyra, approached quietly. She was a sharp, brave woman with quick eyes and steady hands. "Captain," she said softly, "we have our orders. The Varn outpost on Tenebris controls many of their drone ships. If we take it down, we slow their advance, but it won't be easy." Elias nodded. "I know. That's why I've been visiting the grave. I need strength. More than what I have." Lyra frowned. "You mean that alien warrior's grave? Why do you keep going back there? It's empty." "No one was ever buried there." Elias looked at her, surprised. "Empty? What do you mean?" Lyra shrugged. "The elders told me. The grave is a symbol, not a tomb. They say it was made to mark a promise, something that will happen one day, but no body was ever found." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. Somehow this changed everything he thought he knew. "But why do I feel connected to it?" he whispered. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Maybe because you're part of that promise." Before Elias could answer, the ship's alarm beeped sharply. The bridge crew rushed to their stations. "Captain Ward, we've detected Varn scouts. Ahead," the communications officer said. "Prepare for battle," Elias ordered. His voice was calm but firm. The Starlancer moved quickly through space, heading toward Tenebris. The dark moon loomed ahead, a shadow against the bright stars. As the ship entered orbit, small Varn drones appeared. Their metal shells glinted and their red sensors scanned for targets. Elias's squad fired their weapons, sending bright pulses of energy into the enemy drones. Explosions lit up the blackness of space. But the Varn were clever. They split into groups, surrounding the Starlancer. "Evasive maneuvers," Elias commanded. The ship twisted and turned, avoiding enemy fire. On the deck below, the soldiers prepared to land on Tenebris. Elias stood among them, holding his helmet tightly. His heart raced. Before stepping into the shuttle, he thought of the grave one last time. He wished he could understand its secret. The shuttle dropped through Tenebris's thin atmosphere. The moon's surface was rocky and dark, with strange, blue crystals glowing faintly in the distance. Elias and his team landed near the Varn outpost, a massive black structure filled with blinking lights and humming machines. The battle began immediately. The Varn drones attacked with speed and precision. Elias and his squad fought hard, using their training and skill to survive. But the Varn were strong, and their numbers seemed endless. At one point, Elias was separated from his team. A Varn drone appeared suddenly, blocking his path. He raised his weapon and fired, but the drone dodged easily. It moved faster than any machine should. Elias felt a sudden rush of power inside him. His reflexes sharpened. His muscles moved without thinking. He dodged the drone's attack and struck back, disabling it in one blow. When the fight ended, his squad gathered around him, eyes wide with surprise. "You moved faster than I've ever seen," said one soldier. Lyra looked at Elias closely. "Captain, something's changing." Elias didn't know what to say. After the battle, the squad returned to the ship, injured but alive. As Elias rested in the medical bay, strange images filled his mind. Visions of stars and battles from long ago, unknown languages, and a warrior in shining armor. He woke up with a start, his body trembling. Lyra stood by his bedside, watching. "Captain, what happened?" she asked. Elias shook his head. "I don't know. I saw things, memories maybe, like someone else was inside me." Lyra's eyes widened. "This is more than just a mission. You have to find out what this means." Elias closed his eyes, trying to calm his racing thoughts. Outside, the stars waited. The war was only beginning, and the secret of the empty grave was closer than ever. The air inside the Star Lancer was tense. Captain Elias Ward stood at the command deck, looking out at the dark, rocky surface of Tenebrous Moon below. The Varn outpost was still active, sending out waves of drones to attack nearby planets and ships. This mission was dangerous, perhaps the most dangerous Elias had faced. His squad prepared their weapons, checked their gear, and waited for orders. Sergeant Lyra stood close by, her sharp eyes scanning every detail. "Captain, the Varn will not give up easily. We must be ready for anything," she said quietly. Elias nodded. "We fight together. We protect each other. We win." The shuttle. Doors opened and the squad stepped onto the cold, rocky ground. The blue crystals on the moon's surface gave off a faint light, casting long shadows. The silence was heavy, broken only by the distant hum of machines. As they moved closer to the outpost, alarms blared. Varn drones appeared, their metal bodies shining under the strange light. They advanced quickly, firing beams of energy. Elias raised his weapon and fired. The fight was brutal and fast. His squad worked perfectly together, covering each other, and moving as one. But the drones were relentless. In the chaos, Elias noticed something strange. His body reacted faster than ever before. When a drone aimed at him, he ducked and rolled away in a flash. He felt a power inside, like he was connected to something greater. He did not think about it. His body just moved. One of the younger soldiers called out, "Captain, how are you moving so fast?" Elias shook his head. "I don't know. Focus on the fight." Suddenly, a powerful explosion shook the ground nearby. Rocks and dust flew into the air. Elias lost sight of Lyra. "Sergeant," he shouted. He pushed through the smoke and debris. There he saw Lyra struggling under a fallen beam. The Varn drones were closing in. Without hesitation, Elias ran to her. With all his strength, he lifted the beam just enough for her to crawl. "Free." "Thanks, Captain," Lyra said, coughing but determined. "We need to get to the outpost. The control center must be destroyed." Elias agreed. "Let's move." They fought through wave after wave of drones, making their way toward the heart of the outpost. The machines' red eyes glowed brighter, and their attacks grew fiercer. As they reached the control center, Elias's squad prepared explosives. The moment to strike had come. But then a new threat appeared. From the shadows, a giant Varn war machine rose. It was taller than a building, with heavy armor and glowing weapons. It moved slowly but with power, crushing everything in its path. Elias's squad froze for a moment, fear creeping in. "Don't stop now," Elias shouted. "We take it down or we die trying." They attacked together, firing their weapons at the war machine's armor. The metal was tough, but the squad found weak points. Elias focused all his energy, guiding his team. During the fight, Elias felt the strange power inside him grow stronger. His reflexes sharpened, his strength increased. He moved faster than anyone, dodging attacks and striking precise blows. War Machine roared in anger but could not stop the squad's assault. After a long battle, it finally collapsed, sparks flying from its broken body. The squad cheered, but the fight was not over. Suddenly, Elias was hit by a powerful blast from behind. He fell hard, pain burning through his body. His vision blurred. "Captain!" Lyra cried, rushing to his side. Elias tried to rise but fell back. His body felt weak, but his mind was clear. "Keep fighting," he whispered. "Don't let them win." The squad fought on, inspired by Elias's courage. Slowly, Elias's vision cleared. He saw strange images, visions of another life, another time. He saw a warrior in shining armor fighting for this very moon. The warrior was strong and brave. The same strange power inside Elias now. He reached out with his mind and touched the memories. They were not his own, or maybe they were. He was unsure. Lyra held his hand. "Captain, stay with me." Elias looked at her, a quiet smile on his face. "I'm not alone in this fight." With a final effort, Elias stood up. His body felt different, stronger. The power inside him was rising. He raised his weapon and led the charge. The squad followed him, stronger and braver than before. Together, they destroyed the last Varn machines on Tenebris. The battle was won. But Elias knew this was only the beginning. The strange power inside him was awakening, and the secret of the empty grave was closer than ever. After the fierce battle on Tenebris Moon, the Starlancer drifted quietly through space. Captain Elias Ward sat alone in his cabin, staring at the small coin he kept from the alien grave on Orin V. It felt warmer, now almost alive. His mind was filled with strange images and questions that had no answers. How was it possible for him to move so fast? Why did he see memories that were not his? And what did the alien elders mean when they said the grave was a promise, not a tomb? Elias knew he needed to understand. The war was not just about fighting the Varn anymore. It was about finding out who he truly was. He called Sergeant Lyra to his cabin. When she arrived, he looked at her with tired eyes. "Lyra, I need to know everything about that grave. The real story. What the elders have been hiding." Lyra nodded. She had always been loyal, and she could see Elias was searching for the truth. "I'll find out, Captain, I promise." The Starlancer landed on Orin V once more, under the soft glow of its twin moons. The alien village was quiet, peaceful. But Elias felt a storm inside. Together, Elias and Lyra visited the elders' temple. The elders were tall and calm, their faces marked by years of wisdom. One of them, Elder Corin, stepped forward. "You seek the truth about the grave," Corin said softly. Elias nodded. "Yes. Why is the grave empty? Who was the warrior? And why do I feel connected to him?" Corin's eyes held a deep sadness. "Long ago, before your people arrived, our world was threatened by a dark enemy. Our greatest warrior stood against it, fighting to save Orin V. But the warrior did not die in the way you think." He paused. "The grave was made not to hold a body but as a symbol, a promise that the warrior's spirit would return in a new form when the galaxy needed him most." Elias's heart pounded. "A new form? What does that mean?" Corin looked directly at Elias. "It means you, Captain Ward, are part of that promise. You carry the warrior's spirit inside you." Lyra gasped softly. "That's why your DNA shows something different. You were never told." Elias felt a mix of fear and hope. "How is this possible? Am I human? Or something more?" Corin smiled gently. "You are both. The warrior's spirit chose to live again through a new body, one capable of uniting humans and aliens alike. You are the key to peace and strength." Elias thought about the coin in his hand, the warrior's face on the grave, the strange power inside him. He was not just a soldier. He was a guardian. Corin continued. The warrior's power will awaken fully when you accept your past and the future you must protect. The war with the Varn will test you, but you are ready. Elias stood tall, feeling the weight of his new destiny. Then I will not run, I will fight with all I have. Back on the Star Lancer, Elias shared what he learned with his squad. Some were amazed, others were cautious, but all trusted their captain. Lyra stayed close to Elias. We will face this together. Elias smiled. Thank you, Lyra. I couldn't do this without you. That night, Elias slept deeply. His dreams were filled with visions of ancient battles, shining armor, and distant stars. He saw himself as the warrior of old, standing strong against enemies that wanted to destroy all life. When he woke, he felt stronger. The power inside him was growing. The future was calling. The empty grave was waiting. The stars outside the Star Lancer burned bright, but inside Captain Elias Ward felt a strange calm. The truth about the empty grave on Orin V had changed everything. He was no longer just a soldier fighting the Varn. He was something more, a bearer of a warrior's spirit from a long time ago, a promise of strength and hope. But Elias also knew that understanding this was only the beginning. The power inside him was growing, but he had no idea how to control it. The war with the Varn was far from over, and new battles would demand all of his courage. The crew gathered in the main hall, a place where they planned and rested. Elias stood in front of them, ready to speak. Everyone, he began, we've won the battle on Tenebrous Moon, but the Varn are still out there. They will come back stronger and more dangerous. I need all of you ready. Sergeant Lyra stepped forward. Captain, what else have you learned about the power inside you? Elias looked at her and smiled. It's connected to the alien warrior's spirit from Orin V. I carry his strength now, but I need to learn how to use it. The squad listened, carefully. Some were amazed. Others still had questions. We need to train, Elias said. I need to understand this power, and you need to be ready to fight beside me. Over the next few days, Elias worked harder than ever. He practiced, moving faster, stronger, and more precise. His reflexes were sharper, and his senses seemed to reach beyond the ordinary. Lyra helped him through the difficult training. You're not alone, she reminded him. We're a team. One evening, as the ship sailed through the quiet of space, Elias felt the power inside him surge again. This time it was stronger. Images flashed in his mind, visions of the ancient warrior fighting great enemies, defending Orin V and the galaxy. Suddenly he heard a voice. Not a real voice, but a sound inside his mind. It was calm, strong, and full of wisdom. Elias, the voice said, you carry my spirit. You are ready to awaken. Elias closed his eyes and focused. The voice continued. Your body is the key. The power within is the strength of many generations. You must believe in it to control it. Only then can you protect all life. Elias opened his eyes, feeling a deep peace. I will, he whispered. The following days brought new challenges. The Varn had discovered a hidden base near the edge of human space. The threat was urgent. Elias and his squad prepared for another mission. Before the mission, Elias visited the grave on Orin V once more. This time he felt different. The empty grave no longer seemed just a symbol. It was alive with energy. He knelt, placing his hands on the stone. Warrior, I am ready, Elias said softly. Help me protect the future. A soft light surrounded the grave, and Elias felt the power inside him reach a new level. It was as if the ancient warrior's spirit was flowing through him, filling him with courage and strength. He stood up, feeling stronger than ever. The Star Lancer moved quickly toward the Varn base. Elias's squad prepared for the hardest fight yet. The enemy was powerful and well-armed. The battle began with a blast. Varn drones swarmed, their red eyes glowing like fire. The squad fought fiercely, using their weapons and new skills. Elias led the charge, moving faster and stronger than anyone. His attacks were precise and powerful, breaking through the enemy lines. At one moment, Elias faced a giant Varn war machine again. This time, he felt no fear. He raised his hand, and the power inside him exploded out like a wave of light. The war machine trembled, its metal armor cracking under the force. With a final strike, Elias destroyed the machine. His squad cheered, their hope rising. After the battle, Elias stood among his people, tired but proud. He knew the war was not over, but he was ready. The power inside him had awakened. He was the promise made long ago, the warrior who would protect the galaxy, and before every battle, he would still pray at the empty grave, now knowing it was meant for him. The war with the Varn had taken a heavy toll. The battles on Tenebrous Moon and the secret base left scars on the Starlancer and its crew. Captain Elias Ward sat alone in the ship's quiet command room, staring out at the endless stars. The power inside him felt stronger than ever, but questions still haunted his mind. Who had created the alien warrior's spirit? Why had it chosen him? And what was the true reason behind the Varn's attack on the galaxy? Elias knew he had to find answers. Answers beyond the battlefield. He called Sergeant Lyra and his closest officers for a meeting. We have fought the Varn, but now it is time to learn more about them. We need to understand our enemy if we want to win this war. Lyra nodded. I agree, Captain. Maybe there is something about the Varn's origin that we don't know. Elias smiled. Exactly. I want us to search for information on the Varn homeworld or their creators. We might find their weakness. The squad agreed, and the Starlancer set course for the outer edge of explored space where ancient ruins and lost records might hold secrets. Days later, the ship entered a vast asteroid field. Hidden among the rocks was an ancient space station, long abandoned and covered in dust. Elias felt a strange pull as they landed nearby. This station might hold data about the Varn, Elias said. Let's search for any records. Inside the station, the crew moved carefully through dark halls filled with broken machines and glowing screens. Strange symbols covered the walls, alien writing from a time long past. Elias felt the power inside him respond to the place. It was as if the station remembered the warrior spirit he carried. In a control room, they found a data core, still active but fading. Lyra carefully connected their systems to the core. Captain, I'm downloading the records now. As the data flowed, Elias read a message left by an ancient race called the Aelorians. The message told a story of a great war that happened thousands of years ago. The Aelorians created powerful machines to protect themselves, but the machines became the Varn, turning against their creators and destroying everything. Elias's heart sank. The Varn were once protectors, but now destroyers. They had no feelings, no mercy, only programming to destroy life. But the message had more. It spoke of a guardian spirit created by the Aelorians to fight the machines when they went rogue. The spirit was placed inside a chosen warrior, one who could awaken when the galaxy needed hope. Elias realized the truth. He was the guardian spirit, the warrior the Aelorians created to stop the Varn. As the data finished downloading, an alert sounded. Captain, sensors detect an incoming Varn fleet. They are coming fast and in large numbers. Elias stood up quickly. Prepare the ship for battle. This may be our toughest fight yet. The Starlancer moved to meet the enemy. Outside, the Varn fleet appeared like a dark storm in space, hundreds of machines ready to destroy. Elias looked at his squad. This is our moment. Remember what you fight for our people, for the galaxy, and for the warrior spirit inside me. The battle began. Blasts of light and energy filled space. The Starlancer fired its weapons, dodging the relentless Varn attacks. Elias felt the guardian spirit guiding him. His body moved faster than ever. His mind saw every enemy move before it happened. With his squad by his side, Elias led a daring attack on the Varn command ship, the source of their control. They fought through enemy fire and machines. Elias's power flared brightly, breaking the shields of the command ship. Inside, they found the control core, a large glowing crystal controlling the Varn fleet. Elias raised his hand, focusing his energy. The power flowed through him and into the crystal. It cracked and shattered, sending waves of energy through the Varn ships. One by one, the machines stopped moving. The battle was won. After the fight, Elias and his squad returned to the Starlancer. Lyra smiled. "Captain, you really are the guardian spirit." Elias looked at her. "We all are. Without your support, I could not have done this." As they traveled back to Orin V, Elias thought about the future. The Varn threat was weakening, but new dangers could arise. He was no longer just a captain. He was a symbol of hope. The warrior spirit inside him was awake and ready, and the empty grave on Orin V waited patiently for the time when Elias would finally rest, knowing he had saved the galaxy. The galaxy was quiet for the first time in many years. The Varn machines had been stopped, their command core destroyed by Captain Elias Ward and his brave squad. Yet, Elias knew peace was fragile, always needing protectors ready to defend it. Back on Orin V, the village celebrated their hero's return. The elders prepared a special ceremony, a chance to honor the warrior spirit and the captain who carried it. But Elias was different now. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a guardian, a symbol of hope for many worlds. As the sun rose over the crystal hills of Orin V, Elias walked slowly toward the empty grave. The place that had been a mystery for so long was now clear in his mind. The grave was not empty because the warrior's body was gone. It was empty because the warrior's spirit had been passed on to him. The village gathered around. The elders spoke in soft, ancient voices, telling the story of the warrior who had protected their world in the past, and the promise that the spirit would return. Elias knelt by the grave, feeling the power within him calm and steady. "I have fought many battles," he said quietly. "I have felt the strength of the warrior who came before me. Now I promise to protect this galaxy, to protect all life." He placed his hand on the stone one last time. The light around the grave glowed softly, as if accepting his promise. Suddenly a breeze swept across the hill, carrying the scent of distant stars and old memories. Elias closed his eyes and smiled. He was ready. Months passed. The Starlancer traveled from system to system, helping worlds rebuild after the Varn attacks. Elias and his squad trained new defenders, sharing their knowledge and strength. Lyra remained, by Elias's side, a loyal friend and trusted officer. Together, they built a team of warriors from many races, humans, aliens, and those who believed in peace and courage. One evening, while resting on Orin V, Elias spoke to Lyra. "The power inside me has changed my life. But it's not just about strength, it's about hope. We must give people a reason to believe." Lyra nodded. "You've become more than a captain, Elias. You're a symbol." Elias looked out at the stars. "And the warrior's spirit will live on as long as we remember the promise." But peace was not without challenges. Far beyond the known galaxy, a new threat was growing, a force that watched silently, waiting for a moment to strike. Elias sensed it in the quiet moments, a shadow on the edge of his mind. The guardian spirit inside him stirred, warning him of dangers yet unseen. One night, as Elias prayed once more at the empty grave, he heard a whisper. Not from the past, this time, but from the future. "The promise must continue," the voice said. "New heroes will rise, and you will lead them." Elias smiled softly. "I am ready." He stood, the stars shining bright above. The empty grave was no longer a place of mystery, but a symbol of hope, courage, and the future. Before every battle, Elias would pray there, drawing strength from the warrior's spirit and knowing that he was never alone. Because the promise was fulfilled, and the story was only just beginning. The end.